Good evening. We begin tonight with significant developments impacting global alliances. Tensions between the United States and the United Kingdom have reportedly worsened, fueled by a dispute over military cooperation in the escalating conflict with Iran. United States President Donald Trump has openly questioned the traditionally close ties between Washington and London, specifically citing the United Kingdom's initial reluctance to allow the use of British military bases in Cyprus for operations against Iran. Speaking to the British newspaper The Sun, President Trump expressed his disappointment, stating, "It is very sad to see that the relationship is obviously not what it used to be." He further elaborated, "That was the closest relationship of all. And now we have very close relationships with other European countries." In a noteworthy shift, President Trump explicitly praised both Germany and France, highlighting their cooperation in contrast. The core of the disagreement stems from British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's initial refusal to grant the United States permission to use British military bases in the conflict against Iran. President Trump, speaking to The Sun on Monday evening by telephone from the White House, described Prime Minister Starmer's stance as not helpful. The president added, "I never thought I would experience something like this. I never thought I would experience something like this from Great Britain." These remarks underscore a palpable sense of surprise and betrayal from the American leadership regarding the United Kingdom's position. The timeline of events highlights the fluctuating nature of the United Kingdom's involvement. On Saturday, at the outset of the attacks by the United States and Israel on Iran, Prime Minister Starmer categorically rejected any British participation in the military actions. However, by Sunday, a shift occurred. Prime Minister Starmer announced that he had agreed to a United States request for the use of British military bases, albeit for what he described as a special and limited defensive purpose. This change in stance suggests a delicate balancing act by the British government, aiming to address American concerns while navigating domestic political sensitivities. On Monday, Prime Minister Starmer robustly defended his decision before Parliament. He acknowledged President Trump's disapproval, stating, "President Trump has expressed his rejection of our decision not to participate in the first airstrikes." However, Prime Minister Starmer firmly asserted his primary duty, declaring, "But it is my duty to assess what is in the national interest of Great Britain. That is precisely what I have done, and I stand by that." His words emphasize the sovereign right of the United Kingdom to determine its foreign policy and military engagement, even when faced with pressure from a close ally. This current friction must be understood within the broader context of British political sentiment regarding military interventions in the Middle East. Such actions remain politically highly controversial in the United Kingdom, largely due to the legacy of the 2003 Iraq War. The decision by former Prime Minister Tony Blair to massively and unquestioningly support the United States-led invasion of Iraq in 2003 led to widespread public and political disillusionment. This historical backdrop makes any engagement in the region a particularly sensitive issue for any British government, influencing the cautious approach taken by Prime Minister Starmer. The implications of this diplomatic rift are significant, potentially reshaping the dynamics of the long-standing special relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom. As global tensions continue to simmer, the ability of key allies to find common ground, particularly on matters of national security and military cooperation, will be under intense scrutiny. The coming days and weeks will reveal how these two nations navigate this challenging period and whether their fundamental alliance can withstand the current strain. We will continue to monitor these developments and bring you the latest updates. What's your take on US-UK relations strain over Iran war cooperation? Share your view in the comments. Do you think this will matter in the next news cycle? This video was generated using artificial intelligence.